What's good, everybody? This is Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, and we're back at it with another reaction review. And this is actually for Dave Chappelle's new Netflix special, The Closer. Now, this video is going to be basically the art of staying on purpose and holding frame. Um, it's very interesting. Before this special actually came out, I was actually finding myself looking at a lot of boxing and MMA videos. And I wouldn't say for no reason. For me, there's a reoccurring um, I would say like anthology, but there's a reoccurring like pattern that I see in certain parallels just with life. I mean, so many people have used like boxing metaphors and everything like that in regards to different aspects of life, but Dave Chappelle is an interesting case, because you have different sections, red pill, blue pill, beta, alpha, as far as different things on, being a man. And one of the things that is talked about within this is holding frame, sticking to your purpose. Dave Chappelle is very masterful at doing that. In this particular special, he knew there was going to be some backlash, but there's a lot of backlash that in reality is proving a lot of his points. We're in this time that's just very, very interesting because people who are, around my age, I just turned 30 this year, you remember just how censorship and how things has developed since, the 90s, the 2000s, and everything like that. And we're at this particular point. He drove a lot of points home, but he's always been consistent with his message, but always, went about it in particular type of ways. At first when I was watching it, I there was a little aspect, and I'm glad that I actually went into it this way because it allowed for me to see the genius at completion. I knew it was gonna be dope just because of the fact that it started off with Yasi Bey. You already see him, started off one of my favorite artists. And it's interesting because as I was wondering where he was going with it, because I was just saw like it started off with a lot of, I would say like sex jokes, and in the way that I mean it was just, it seemed, in the way that it seemed out of, it seemed out of character for him. Not sex jokes in general, but in almost it was, but then, remember I was saying I was watching a lot of boxing prior to this dropping. I might have seen like a little preview, like a trailer or something, but there was no way that there would have been so many parallels to boxing. And sometimes those little those little quick jabs, that's what I felt he was doing in the beginning. Like I think he was just like quick jabbing the audience, like not doing nothing crazy, and it was purposely like kind of to throw it off. And I felt like I like purposely, was like, falling for it basically, if that makes sense. And it's just I've seen comedians that have to they have to really rely heavily on that to like get a laugh. It's almost like a default area to stay in, you know. So it almost kind of threw me off in the beginning of it. But you know, as it started progressing and as he started set, everything was set up from the beginning. That's what's so genius about it. It was such a good. I even made a song. Like literally, the song is called Earthship. The chorus is, you know, I don't punch up or down. I just punch lines. Y'all can keep the crown. I come back for it, because if there's anyone, and it's funny because boxing, comedians, rappers, there's this interesting parallel between all of them, you know, and they all hang out with each other, you know, but in the sense of when he was talking about punching up, punching down, he doesn't do either or, he punches lines. As a wordsmith, as someone who I write, as a composition MC that writes fiction. Not only do I write music, but I write, I have books, you know. That was such the reality of a lot of, you know, our life. And he brought several points home. He's anybody who's like listened to, he's just like anyone who's listened to my specials knows and has heard, you know, everything. And that's why I brought up as far as people who are around my age have seen as far as this, you know, stuff as things, you know, as we're right now. You definitely get away with a lot more, but it's not even the sense of getting away. You know, we'll sit up there, and it's funny, I bring up boxing, we'll sit up there and physically see people beat themselves up for sport. And some of those, I was like, dang, like for me, like it's fascinating seeing like combos and different things like that, because play video games, you be the Tekken, Mortal Kombat, be hitting those combos, and to see it done on someone in real life is such a trip. Like to see someone literally get the hand down, like it's just all like, yo, you got a 20 hit combo in real life. We'll sit there and we'll millions, trillions of dollars. When Dave Chappelle is up on stage, he's literally defending himself against the public. And his jabs, his right hooks, you know, that's what he uses in order to keep himself in form. You know, what's very interesting about Dave Chappelle is his age and also when he started. You know, looking at the fact of at the time, the age that he left as far as the Dave Chappelle, you know, you're talking about a guy who was in his like mid 30s. You know, I look at that, right? I look at that and it's a trip, you know. And again, you know, there's so many parallels between boxing. A lot of the people that I was looking at around like that same age, especially if you got into boxing, you know, early, you know, that you get into that same age where it's just like the giant, the monster, the undefeatable gets defeated in the ring. and they're not done, and you see like the comebacks and different things like that, and sometimes they're not the same, but sometimes they come back even better than ever, you know. And when I look at Dave Chappelle and I look at as far as this special now, you know, this was a closing of a cycle, you know, his term as far as with Netflix, different things like that, and there was a lot to round up. You know, like the one story he told as far as about the trans comedian that he befriended as far as in the previous special. You know, he goes into details about how this woman had ended up killing herself for defending him. You know, you have an organization. Hey, look at my skin color. I've never heard of this organization. It's like the Black whatever organization. And they're trying to cancel him, you know, because of not his use of the N-word or any of those things. It's literally because of his support as far as the baby. You know, he goes on to talk about, and it's just all like, it's like, are you, the people who want to cancel him, I'm just like, are you not understanding? It's like, sometimes we'll be so in what it is that we're trying to do that we're not even listening to logic. There is no logic behind a lot of these cancellations. He's a comedian. He's making jokes. And it's not like he picks on a specific type of people. This is a man who is absorbing life, you know, life. And he talks about everybody. It's just like literally everybody's picking, you know, parts of the whole thing and then pointing him as this. And he's just a human. This was him on stage, just all like, I'm just a human. I'm a human just like you. I'm a human just like you. You know, like, and it's a trip because there's several things as far as, you know, what he's saying as far as the Jews. And I think a lot of people really, that went over some people's heads, especially when we talk about the idea of people in space being ancient people as far as from this land, you know. They weren't white. But, you know, whatever you believe as far as that, you know, just like, it's just all like, how can you get upset with the results that have been shown? You know, he's not pulling, you know, stuff, like he is very precise, which is why as far as the baby thing, it's just all like literally. And y'all might have went people with you know, don't abort the baby, you know, and a lot of the stuff that, you know, is going on with as far as women's reproductive rights, you know. And as far as when you think about our people and the percentage as far as babies that are aborted, you know, even like with the whole J.K. Rowling, you know, you have it's a trip. Here's the thing. You like you cannot get upset at people for stating facts. What you do and who you are as a human being, it doesn't, like, too many people like are fusing these things and creating situations and outrage that are unwarranted. I get it. Been in the pandemic, people been chilling in the house or whatever. They just want anything to just be like, ah. But where's the logic? Where is the logic? This is the biggest argument, and he's not the only one, but I don't think that it is right, because people have something to say that is, it's, instead of having like conversations on where there's a medium, let's go ahead and cancel them. If you know what you believe is what you believe, but to force anyone outside of yourself to take part in this to certain levels, that's where the issue is. Really, any level, but there's levels that this is being taken that is just all like, the biggest issue, and he's even said it, and people have said it before, maybe it isn't as glittery and different things like that, but you cannot sit here and, because you don't believe that this shirt is white, everyone else sees that this is white, but you don't believe it. And so you're trying to get everyone else to believe that this shirt is white. It's cool. If you don't believe that it is white, that is fine. But to force other people to then join for it, and now you want everyone else to be in your world where this shirt is not white. That's a lot of what he's saying. And no one has a problem, whether you're lesbian, whether you're gay, whether you're bi, whether you're trans, whatever. The big issue that comes into play is the issue that gender isn't a thing. Like, we're dealing with science for a reason. Okay, if you want to be who it is that you want to be, that's perfectly fine. But now, because you've decided this isn't just, call me a woman. No. It's going to a point where you're trying to just get rid of genders, instead of looking at, these different things, because all of these things require certain conversations. Comedians, musicians, artists, all we're doing is giving our observation and allowing for the interpretation to go the way that it's going to go. So have the conversations. But you want to cancel someone for making art. their expression. Like, and then it's like not even on stuff that you would actually think, like, oh, maybe this random black group, maybe it's him saying the N-word too much, or maybe this or maybe this. No, you want to cancel Dave Chappelle off this, but you're gonna disregard what he was saying as far as how some white trans, the whole entitlement as far as within that, or what he was saying as far as how this movement, started, and they've been able to make more strides than the blacks as a whole, no matter what you are in general. You're gonna push past, literally all the stuff in favor that was very poignant points to do this. Personally, I think they're clout chasers. I think no one knew this freaking group, and then they just come out the woodwork, cancel, and then all of a sudden, like, they make headlines because it's this black group that's going against Dave Chappelle. This is how you know it's a good special, man. You need to watch it. I think, all in all, it was a great piece. It was a great piece, and honestly, being able to look at all the Netflix specials, as a whole complete, I think that it's going to tell a certain, story. Man, it trips me out. It trips me out, but I personally liked it. And he brought up so many points. This is my first review reaction of it, but there was so much about it that I remembered that I was just all like, oh, I know, because I was looking at some people's review of it as far as like bigger names, or just seeing, what people were trying to cancel him about, so I was looking at several things, and it instantly triggered certain, like the memory, oh yeah, that happened, and da-da-da-da. It's good, but I'm not gonna, I could go on a like super rant as regards to this, but hey, what was y'all's favorite parts? And let me know as far as the parts that you didn't like. And if I get enough as far as response to it, then I'll make like a top video, like, top 5 or top 10, best jokes or worst parts or different things like that. It's depending on, what I get in the comment section. So, hey, if you made it this far and you have some views and opinions, or you just have some, like I said, what was your favorite parts? What was the parts that you liked? What was the parts that you didn't like? And what was your favorite out of all the new Netflix specials? Which one was your favorite one? I would have to come back to y'all on that. I was about to think about it, but I was just all like, you know what? Let me. I want to say, just on the top of my head, it would be, Equilibrium. But the thing is that I really like a lot of the names that he chose for his stuff. So there's like, that's why I was just all like, let me come back. But if y'all have one, you can leave it in the comment section. But anyways, this is Mr. Composition, an MC that writes fiction. You could check out my latest song, Invincible Summer. Link will be in the description. If you're a cannabis smoker like Dave Chappelle and myself, I actually made the first cannabis themed manga comic. There's cannabis comics, but not manga style. If you don't know what manga is, this is a Japanese style of, release where it reads, instead of from left to right, it goes from right to left. So I have 11 issues. I have 11 issues that are put together in one volume. called Momentum, but you can read 8 issues for free. Link in the description. So check it out. And if you want to get the first volume that has all 11 issues for this first little go around, then link will be in the description. It's digital, it's physical, available. And if I get this video, I'm just gonna put it, some random number. If this video gets like 500 likes, then I'll drop the song like literally when it gets there. Won't be like any delay or whatever, as far as it might be like a 24-hour delay because I'll go back and listen to it, whatever. But if y'all want to hear the song that I wrote that was inspired from this special called Earthship, then get this video to 500 likes. Anyways, so Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction. Make sure to hit that like. Make sure to hit that freaking subscription button. And make sure to hit the notification bell. Peace.
In the darkness, turn the galaxy into my office. Translating thoughts into deep science. Got the sun in my pocket, build your resilience. So when the next winter cycle comes, I prepare with no losses. The work of the soloists of boss. At the heart of my winter, there's an invincible